Good morning. Hey, I apologize for that. Okay, very quickly. I'm going to be super, super quick. I promise. I want to talk about um, sometimes when leadership is offensive, right? And I got this from Mark 6:3, where it said, and so they were offended by him, talking about Jesus. Leadership brings the best and worst in people. And sometimes, as wise leaders, we have to accept that when we are in leadership and when we're leaders, when we're Christians, sometimes we are just going to be offensive. Our beliefs are going to be offensive. Oftentimes, when God is trying to elevate you in your career or in your life, you are going to have some people who are going to be absolutely offended by your level of elevation. Not because they're mad at God, but they want to know why you. Why are you the person that God would choose to elevate? Why are you the person that God would choose to bring up over them? Especially sometimes when these people are close to you. They've known you since you were a child. They've known you since you first began ministry. They've known you since you started working at the job. They've known you in various capacities. And now all of a sudden you may be the boss, or you may be the supervisor. You may be the one that's chosen for the promotion. You may be the one that is chosen to be ordained, right? So Jesus is rejected in his own hometown. It says, and he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, from whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that even such mighty works are in his hands? Is this not the carpenter's son, the mother, the brother of James, Joseph, and Judah, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended by him. And Jesus went on to say, a prophet is without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kindred, and in his own house. Listen to me. Your growth, your elevation, your movement to the next level of growth, the next level of ministry, the next level of power, next level of elevation, next level of wisdom, next level of intellect, next level of zip code is going to be offensive. And people are going to remember you from where you were, only to make you small and to diminish you in a way to kind of humble you or to put you back in your place. If you are going to be used by God, and if you are going to see faith over faith and glory over glory and growth over growth and movement over movement and goals over goals and elevation over elevation and climbing the rungs and the ladders to be better, people are going to try to either drag you down, or the people who were once your friends, your colleagues, are going to turn into enemies only because you have now surpassed them, or you have given them a picture of what they could be doing. You've given them an image of where they can go. And this is why your circle matters. But you have to listen to me, y'all. Jesus knew that as he grew, some people were going to drop off. He knew. There's a scripture in the Bible that not only talks about the disciples, but it talks about Jesus had more disciples than the 12, but many of them left him. You have to resolve in your soul and resolve in your spirit and resolve in your mind that growth also is going to entail some growing pains. There's going to be some of the crowd who's going to be your who does she think she is circle. There are going to be some people who will see your elevation, your growth, your spiritual maturity as an offense to them. The people in the synagogue asked, where did he get all this wisdom from? Where did he get all of these sayings from? Is this not the carpenter's son? And I want to let you know now, Jesus did less in Nazareth than anywhere else of the hometown because of the people's attitude towards him. Think it not strange that the place where you grow up is not the place where God will keep you. It could be churches, it could be family members, because as you grow, your growth will be offensive. And so this is how I want you to navigate that. One, I want you to always focus on your kingdom responsibility. Your kingdom responsibility always comes first. And what does that mean? Whether you work at the post office, whether you work in full-time ministry, whether you're a teacher at the school, you still have a calling in the kingdom. And that kingdom responsibility is for you to, like Jesus said, do the will of the Father. Number two, please know that as you grow, everyone can't come with you. There are many, many instances in the book of Acts where the disciples had to split because of disputes, because of people's responsibility. All right. In your workplace, you are going to find that you're just going to outgrow some people. And you have to resolve that in your soul. You have to resolve that in your heart. And third, don't allow people to get too familiar with you till you put more emphasis on what they think instead of what God told you to do. Jesus did not do many miracles. He did not do many teachings in his own hometown of Nazareth because people couldn't see him be a carpenter's son. There are some people who won't see you beyond being the cashier, who won't see you beyond being the stay-at-home mom, who won't see you beyond the new employee at the post office. And as God has elevated you, people get offended. As you have done the work to study, to go to school, to get the certifications, to move into the right circles, to ask the right questions, to get the mentors, it's offensive. It's offensive. So always focus on your kingdom work. Know that everyone can't go with you doing your growth. And don't allow people who are familiar with you to keep you stuck. Because if you do, then you'll be disappointing God and you'll never move. I want you to remember this scripture in Mark 6, where it said, and they were offended by him. They were offended by him because he had to move forward. He had to do God's will. And they only remembered him as the carpenter's son. Don't let people reduce you to where they knew you from and you miss God and not do the will of the Father because you're worried about being offensive to the people who are not doing the work and who are not moving. Okay? Y'all got it? Listen, I love y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all being here with me every Monday morning. I got to get to an event, but I want to say this. I want to, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt that your growth becomes a source of intimidation for people. It's going to break your heart that as you grow, you want to take some people with you, but you can't because you know they will sabotage your elevation because they are mad that God chose you. There's nothing wrong with you being smart. There's nothing wrong with you being ambitious. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to move to the next level of life, to really get the abundance that God has promised you. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep it all within kingdom responsibility. Never allow yourself to be outside of the will of God for ambition. Jesus never allowed himself to be outside of the will of God, even as he taught, even as he grew, even as he built his leadership pipeline with his disciples. He never got into ego. And it is okay for you to elevate as long as you don't make it about you. Make it about God's kingdom. And I promise you, in due season, you will be exalted if you faint not. Your growth will be offensive. It's part of the territory. And if you want to be a great leader, if you want to be a great kingdom citizen, if you want to be a good steward of the resources that God has given you, whether that's skills, talents, abilities, and giftings, just know that sometimes there's some people you have to take off the energy bus because everybody can't go with you because your growth will be offensive. All right. Love y'all. I'll see y'all later. Have a good day. Have a good one. I will see you all next Monday. Bye.